Well, hello. My name is Carol Carlson, and I'm going to tell you all about my notebooks. So I am a pen and paper kind of gal. I've always loved having notebooks with me, and I have a bunch of different notebooks. I have one sitting on my table now. It's a spiral notebook. Here's what it looks like. Just normal spiral notebook. I have my planner, which is this disc size planner. You can take pages out, put them in. I use a variety of different covers for these and bookmarks, and I make my own inserts and do stuff like that and put those in. I have all kinds of notebooks back here that are some are older, some are new. Kind of a notebook addict. Anyway, and then these are my little traveling notebooks that I carry with me when I'm going out and about. Like I have one for my cats, and these are all hand stitched, which I want to make some of these eventually. I don't have it right now in my budget or my time to do that, but eventually I'd like that to become a hobby for myself. Right now I'm creating notebooks online and selling them through Amazon and Etsy. I'll get to that in just a little bit, but I just want to show you these first. So I have a cat's notebook. I have a medical notebook. I have my learning notebook that I take to like workshops and trainings and conferences and stuff like that to write notes in. I have a household notebook that I usually use for when I am looking for a new apartment and need it in my bag for when I go see places. So I have to-do lists. I have diagrams of apartments that I've visited, information about the apartment. Let's see. Yeah, most of this is that. A budget for apartments, cost of utilities and phone numbers for utilities. Pictures of the place. And then I also have a wish list of things I want to buy for my apartment that I haven't looked at forever, but I have one of those in here as well. That's one of my most recent lists in here. And then for my medical one, I have just notes for appointments that I've gone to. And then things I want to bring up at the appointment and things that they say to me. And then I also have a list of the contact information for my doctors too, and in case I need them. And then for my cats, mostly this is because I would forget what my cat's favorite foods would be, and they like a variety of foods, but I would sometimes forget, was it this flavor or of this brand or this flavor? So now I have it written down. I can bring it with me, and I rate the foods as to how they like them. And then I also keep vet appointment notes in here and the vet instruction, or the vet address and phone number in here as well. So those are my current notebooks that I have right now. I also have another disc. This is a big one. This is my budget notebook. And then I have some other ones too. So that's what I have right now. But anyway, I have an Amazon shop that sells semi-structured notebooks that are similar to the ones that I carry around with me when I go out and about, and that have similar, that are things that you could fill in yourself if you bought them. And I have a shop on Amazon, I have a shop on Etsy, and I'm going to show you one of those. And then my future videos will feature other books besides this one that I'm going to show you today. So let me switch to that. Let's do that one. Okay, let me show the cover first. So here's an example of what one of my structured notebooks looks like. This one is a mindset journal. And I just noticed today that I feel embarrassed about. Nevertheless, I'm going to keep going. If you don't have a white pen, how are you going to write the dates on here so that you know what they are? So I won't be doing that again, and I'm going to update this one sometime soon. But for now, this is what's in here for this mindset journal. This is the cover for it, and this is the inside for it. So the first page, when you open it up, the first page will say, if found, please return to. And then these are also they're not super artsy, craftsy. You'll see some really fancy ones out there with pictures and all kinds of stuff like that. The insides of my journals are not super like fancy like that. They're mostly, sometimes I change up the font a little bit and stuff like that and add a little color, but that's about it. They're very practical notebooks. Every single one is about 59 to 60 pages long. And so they're very similar to these. Okay. So this one is a mindset journal. And so the second page is the table of contents. And then the third page is it's basically a journal and a log. So why do I want to change my mindset? This book is really good for people that struggle with a little bit with mental health challenges or are in recovery or from whatever, and are working on trauma work or like any kind of healing process in their life. And so I'm just going to do this little walkthrough of it. So some of the circle of support, so you often hear circle of support in the disability community. This is, that's where I got that from, but it's basically positive people and role models that will support you on your mindset journey. And so you want to write their name here. Just for a reminder for you, what are their strengths? What do you go to them for in terms of your mindset work? And then a recent example of how they supported you. And then I give you some online resources. And some of these resources are actually things that are in this notebook, are examples that I used in this notebook, especially this positive psychology blog. Okay, and then this one too, and oh, this one especially. As a matter of fact, the structure of this journal is very much based on this one here. Okay. Some books here too that I think are really helpful for mindset. And then, so this ants idea, automatic negative thoughts are ants. They're really buggy, ha ha ha. And they like to bug you a lot if you're dealing with any kind of, like if you have a challenging past, I have a challenging past, so I had a lot of negative thoughts all through my recovery. I'm in recovery, and I had to deal with my aunts. But there's a lot of information on this here about that. And so you just write down one of your negative thoughts. One of mine is, um, uh, you know, when I would feel overwhelmed, oh, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And then a positive reframe would be, well, I probably could do it if I just reached out to somebody and talked it through with them and they helped me figure it out. Or if I broke it down, maybe if I would, and maybe I'm overwhelmed and I just need to break it down. So that's a positive reframe. And then those strategies, like one of the strategies would break it down, right? Or call someone. And then, so there's a bunch of space for that. And then you have some pages for your mindset goals, why it's important, when to start, hope to complete by, who will cheer me on. That goes back to that circle of support. Your habits and routines that you may need to develop to reach that goal, actions to take, resources that I may need to help me reach that goal, when you completed it on, and if there are any reference pages. So the reference pages, all of these notebooks are numbered for the table of contents, even the notes pages. So if you go all the way towards the end, there's a whole bunch of note pages that you can use. And then, so if you let's say you wrote a note on this page here, 28, you would just add that then to that goals page that you wrote that. Where was that now? I'm getting into the weeds, but you just write that here in the additional reference pages. So you got a few pages of that. Okay. And then you want to write down your strengths. If you're working on your mindset, you definitely want to write down your strengths. Please ignore my picture on the side here because it's making all kinds of weird things over there. So you want to write down your strength, how they contradict those negative thoughts that you have. Okay. And an example of how you would use that in your life. So let's say my negative thought is, I can't do it. I'm incompetent. I can't do it. My strength, that's kind of opposite to that, is my persistence. Like, I'm stubborn and I'll sometimes do things even though I'm thinking that I can't do it. I'll just go and do it anyway to prove myself wrong. And so I'm persistent and stubborn anyway. And so that's how it contradicts that ant. Like, nope, I can't do it. I'm going to do it, even though I'm thinking I can't do it. And I have lots of examples for that, for how that I went to college doing a lot of that. But I also gave up on myself a lot in college too. I would give up and then go back. But the last time I went to college, I was always going several times. I would be going to class saying, I can't do it, can't do it. And I would still go and I would still do it, even though I was saying that to myself. Okay. And then your triggers. So lots of people have triggers, not just people that have mindset issues, but so there's strategies that there's a trigger that you might have. So what scenarios trigger your ants or other negative behaviors? What you tried to turn it around, and if it worked or not, and what you will try next time. So there's a whole worksheet on that, a couple of worksheets on that, because that's often a problem for people. And those are really good to kind of keep track of. Confronting your fears. start out with an easy one to tackle first and write it down, because once you get the easy ones out of the way, you can write that down as a win, which is another thing I've got in here. So there's a bunch of those pages, how to deal with your fears. You know, how did it feel? Who will you talk to from your circle of support? How will I do it anyway? Remember, I said I did a lot of those things anyway, even if I had fear. And then how did it feel? Will I do it again? Why or why not? And these can help you a lot. You can read those over and over again. So whenever we feel intimidated by something, it's really good to ask yourself questions about that. That's where I got from that Positive Haze website, was that whole thing. And usually it's people. So there's a person that you're intimidated by, and you should question, why do you feel that way? And this can be lots of different reasons why you are intimidated by somebody. It could be that you feel like they're better than you. That's a judgment against yourself, and sometimes a judgment against them as well. You could feel like, you know, people told you certain things about certain types of people, and, you know, now you want to figure out like why you have that in your head, in your heart, and you want to change that about yourself. So one way to do that is to get to know them better. You ask them questions. You can learn more about them by reading about them online, or spending more time around them, even if you don't want to. You feel afraid of them. And you can try to figure out what you can learn from them, and then decide what you want to do about that information, and what kind of steps you want to put that new learning into practice. And then what did you learn about through that process? Okay. So I've done that. I didn't know I was doing that whole process, but I've done that process a few times with people that intimidated with me, and it was really worth it for me to do that. So, but I didn't follow this particular process. I got this actually from that Haze thing, not specifically all of this, but when I read that article, I came up with these questions from reading that article. So you're wondering about that. Building your confidence, practicing your skills. So you think about skills you'd like to develop, why you want to learn that skill, who you can talk to, where I can learn more about it, what ants come up, what kind of negative thoughts come up in your head when you think about trying to learn about that skill. And positive thoughts you can say to yourself to smash down those ants. And then habits and routines that you may develop to practice the skill. Okay, and some more questions there, including who from your circle of support will make me stay accountable. That's important. Okay, there's some of those for you. We all want to build our skills. And then wins. Wins are really important to keep track of. I used to call these notches, but some people have negative connotations when they hear the word notches. So now I try to just call them my wins. So, but I used to call them notches, like notches on your belt when you do something that you're proud of, or when you get through a difficult thing, right? You get through to the other side of that difficult thing. That's a win. That's something that you should be proud of, and you should write it down, and you keep track of it. That really helped me in my recovery, especially my early recovery. And then you have a whole bunch of note pages for you to keep journal, to do some journaling, to keep other information you want to have handy related to your mindset journey. and all of that. So there's 59 pages in the book, so you've got a whole bunch of pages of notes in here. Okay. So, and just another thing I want to say. Oh my goodness, my picture is just going all kinds of weirdness right now. Anyway, there's some other things I want to say about my notebooks. All of these notebooks are really cheap on Amazon. So, but I put a lot of work into these notebooks, as you can see. So I hope that you will buy them. I hope you will buy them for other people. I hope you will buy them for a whole bunch of them to give to all of your friends. And I hope you will talk your therapist in buying them to have in their lobby for free or for sale or super cheap or whatever they want to do with them. Give them away, whatever. Because that'll really help me out. I'm Ubering right now, and I really don't want to Uber anymore. I just want to do notebooks. I'm getting old. It's hard for me to get around. I'd rather do notebooks and make some funny videos and talk to all of you and maybe do some workshops eventually, or create some clubs and stuff like that for people that are doing this kind of work. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Leave a comment down below and just let me know. And yeah, so thank you for watching. Hope it wasn't too long. And keep an eye out for my other videos. I'll have some more. Right now I have Mindset Journal. I have a really great workbook that's a little more expensive because I put even more work into that one. It's called Construct Your Path Personal Development Workbook. And it's all about learning about your interests and like what you might want to do next in your life if you're in a transition of some kind, especially related to employment. That one is what it's mostly about, but it's good for other things too. And that one's got a lot of mindset stuff in it too, especially at the beginning. And I have a course on that as well. I have an intro course, and I'm still working out the kinks on the larger course, but I'm hoping to get that going pretty soon as well. And I would love to start a workshop on that. All right, that's it for this. Now I'll have the links to my Amazon shop, to where my books are sold on Amazon, and also to my Etsy shop. And the Etsy shop has printables that you can put in a disc binder like this, or you can put it in a 3-ring binder or a 6-ring binder, or whatever kind of binder you like, or you can just have them loose all over the place, or however you like to organize your papers. Those are all printables. Those are cheaper as well. And I get 100% on those, whereas Amazon, I only get the royalties for those. So keep that in mind. All right, again, thank you for your patience. My first video about my notebooks. Hope you watch another one. Take care. Bye.